Yeah. So you were just wrapping up
some development.
My camera's off. Start again.
As much as I want to fight against some development projects, because of all the dynamics that's happening in this community, I can't afford to. I have to find people employment, because if I don't, I know what happens. I know the individuals, the moms that's coming up to me and asking me now, can you write a letter for my son? Can you get the councilwoman to speak for my son? Can you go to the assemblyman to get a letter to write? Can you talk to Congressman Towns so he could do something about this conspiracy charge? And it's sad, because most of the time all I could tell him is, listen, I don't know about the conspiracy charge. Y'all need to get together with all the lawyers. Y'all need to find the time frames and show that the timelines don't mix, to show that it was actually conspiracy. But I tell them, and even they said it, yeah, I know he might be guilty of this, but don't give him some conspiracy that's going to give him 10, 20 years when I know he's not in some organized gang. So, but it's hard, because if I had the jobs to give them, I know they wouldn't be in that position. And sometimes I take a lot of things to heart. And when situations like that happen, a lot of people got mad at me, because I know these guys, I know their sisters, I know everybody, and they seen an article in the paper. In the article, I said in the article that there's grandmother sitting on the bench again. I said my daughter comes outside in the park and plays now. And I said that saying, so if they wouldn't have been arrested, would this be the reality? Would they still be out? And I said to somebody else, look at that lady, and that lady. They out on the bench. All their sons was arrested. I didn't see them out on the bench before their sons was arrested. So I said, even the sons, the mothers of some of those who were arrested, they're out here now, and they wasn't out here before. And a lot of people got mad at me for saying that, but I also said this. But I said at the same time, there wasn't no organized gang of 40-something people, because they were not smart enough to be organized. And I meant that, because I know they not. Because I've been out here for years. I've been out here for years trying to get people to do something that would help the situation. I had a meeting in 1995 about how they were going to move people out of their apartments, and what we could do to begin to stop that process by beginning a process ourselves. And we formed committees and stuff, and the committees, they went on for a minute, and the next thing you know, only the chairs of the committees was in there, because people didn't really believe that it could happen. People become reactive and not active, and that has been the major problem for our community. We've been reactive and not active. And my thing is, in this particular situation where there's possibly jobs that are going to come out, I don't want to react after the process has been worked out, after they done been at the table, after the project is getting ready to go up, and then I know it's going up, then go over there to them and say, we want jobs. Because I don't want it to happen like it happened before. It happened before where they said, yo, there's going to be jobs, we're going to get jobs, and then the construction started. They got all their permits and everything. The construction started, and as soon as it started, they said, there's really nothing here. We got something in place to ensure that all of y'all get jobs. But really what they had in place didn't ensure that the immediate area got jobs. It ensured that the broader minority community had participation in the project. And that's okay, because I want minority people to go to work, but I would prefer for right in the shadow of all the development, those people who live right there, don't you think that they should have first shot at it? I don't care if they're black, white, or whatever. If they live in the immediate community and something's going up, they should have first preference at it. The people who live in the community should benefit from the developments in the community. Yeah, the broader community should benefit from it too, but the people in the immediate community should get first shot at it. Especially when before Metro Tech was was built, there was 78% unemployment. Metro Tech is built and there's still 78% unemployment. When they first built it, they talked about how it was going to change the condition of the people who live in the community. We've seen that that has not happened. Why? We didn't have any legal binding documents with the developer. We didn't have any kind of document with the unions. And now we have an opportunity to do that. We have an opportunity to be at the table. And that's why I prefer to be at the table, and I don't want to sit back. I don't want to be the guy that fights against them, fights against them, fights against them. The process gets taken care of, and they start going with the process, and then I try to go to the table after the fact, and I can't get there because all the seats at the table are taken. And that's why I want to be at the table, not because I agree 100% in what anybody's saying. It's because I want to be at the table, and I'm saying I want to be at the table for one reason and one reason only. I want the opportunity to get the jobs. I'm not for the project. I'm conditionally for the project. If it's going to give employment, if it's going to help out the people in my community, and after they agree to go with it, yeah, I'm for it. If it's not going to do all of that, then why would I be with it? What would be the benefit for this community? All it would bring is hardships, and that's basically it. I'm not for a project, and yes, the project is for us. And that's it in a nutshell.
That leads to one last question, though, which is that I've been to a lot of these meetings, and FCR has been saying, oh, well, we did get a lot, that we created a lot of jobs for people last time. They talk about Metro Tech as if it did what you're suggesting it should do.
Well, if it did what it should do, let me give you an example.
But I know that it didn't, but I'm just saying they're saying it did.
Well, with me being down here, there was an individual that I knew named Kenny Witherspoon. He had an organization called Free at Last, and I was one of the guys that worked on there, Kenny Witherspoon. And I was here, and I watched them go to meetings, and I watched other people go to work, and I didn't see us go to work. I was out here, and I was frustrated with Kenny Witherspoon and them because they wasn't getting any jobs. And he was going to meetings and everything. And remember, the only thing I knew was this. And I went on the Brooklyn Bridge, and I used these. I went into Cumberland Hospital, and I used these. I went into Borough Hall right downtown, and I used these. I went into the college, and I used these. And all these, I went into the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and I used these because I felt this is what is going to get us work. If we have to fight for it, so be it. If I go to jail, so be it. And that's what happened. I went to the Borough Hall because we were struggling for the jobs at Metro Tech. With Forest City Radnor, we were struggling for the jobs at Borough Hall, and I went to Borough Hall. And there was a guy there, and they said, listen, this guy right here is in charge of giving jobs to the community, and he says the community has got the jobs. And this is in front of the contractor. And in front of the contractor, I admit, it was stupid, but I did. I said, it's the guy in charge of getting the jobs? Are you sure? He said, yeah. And I commenced beating him down. And I spent 7.5 years for something that took about 30 seconds of my life to do. I spent 7.5 years in prison for it. Am I mad? Nah, because it probably was my destiny to go behind there, because before then, I didn't know how to read or write. Before then, the only thing that I knew was these, because I couldn't use this. And since being in there, having the time to contemplate what's going on around me, having the time where I have food, clothing, and shelter, and having the time to put something inside of here and begin to learn how to use this to understand what's going on in our community is a blessing to me. So I don't look as going behind the walls was hell to me, as a lot of people would put it. I feel that I stepped into heaven because heaven gave me time to feed myself in a way that will allow me to come out here and basically not only help myself but help others. So for Forest City Radnor, if he was doing the right thing back then, I would have never went to jail for 7.5 years. If the jobs was being given up back then, I wouldn't have felt so much in a panic, so much in a need that I had to fight to try to get us employment. I wouldn't have felt like that. I wouldn't have put my freedom on the line if everything would have been all right back then. It wasn't all right. It wasn't all right because I did put myself on the line. I did get myself in trouble. I did go to prison because I thought that was necessary because I knew no other way. So, nah, it wasn't right back then. Can it be right now? Yeah, if they sit down and they sit down honestly and they come up with agreements honestly, yeah, it could be all right. It could be all right for everybody around the table if everybody involved is honest and work out an agreement that's real. The community benefit agreement that they're working on, if they work it out with honesty of trying to do something for the community, yeah, it'll be all right. If the project labor agreement is worked out with the unions and they're really trying to do something, yeah, it'll be all right. But it wasn't all right in the past, and they have to make it all right in the present, or it sure won't be all right in the future.
All right. That's good. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Let me get a shot of these fish because I'm going to hear it the whole time. You got to explain it. People are like, what the hell does that sound? What's this city council proclamation?
Yeah, that's from
What's it for?
community work.
Awesome.
I'm not even in her district, but I work in so many. I'm working out in Red Hook with the people in Red Hook, and in fact, right now, we're getting ready to put some buses together. Even just buses from here, and I know people could probably walk, but I want to make sure they're there to go to Borough Hall about the jobs at IKEA, because we want to put people to work. So I'm working with Red Hook, I'm working with Coney Island, I'm working with Brownsville, I'm working all over the place about jobs because I know that it's necessary. I'm working in Red Hook to make sure that the people who live in Red Hook are the people who have first priority with getting the jobs. I'm working in this area to make sure the people here have first priority of getting the jobs. But I also want some people from Red Hook to get some jobs over here. And I also want some people from over here to get some jobs in Red Hook. But the people in the immediate area should have first priority. If the area is going to grow and people are going to be able to stay in the communities where they live in, when developments come, when businesses come into the community, they should have first priority. If the community is not going to lose its fabric of the type of people who live in it.
Yeah.
Look at the landscape.
No, it's a great place.
It's not